So, the sound of the bell reminds us to drop into place, to become present for our practice this evening. We're going to be doing a little bit of breath work, and we're going to be doing some slow, stretchy yoga. All of the yoga that I teach at the Y is gentle yoga. So remember to be kind to yourself. Whatever we're doing, there's no requirement to do it if it feels uncomfortable or unsafe in your body. Honor whatever you find present in your own body and allow yourself to become more flexible gradually. It really doesn't happen overnight. So we are just, this is our third class. We're just a few weeks into it. And maybe we'll be a little bit more like Gumby in a month or two. But let's stop and see. So, in your seated easy position, paying attention for the first time to your posture, letting the spine become erect, beginning to sense physical sensation in the body, the feeling of the breath, and whatever else is present for you. Then we'll begin to wake up, soften, and stretch the body with some gentle attention and breath work. So taking a breath in, let's bring our attention to the top of the head. And with the first exhale, let a wave of softness pass down through the body, giving up your tension. You might even want to do that twice. Then we'll become a little more targeted, breathing in. And with this particular out breath, allowing the head and face to soften. We carry a lot of tension across the brow and around the eyes. So with the out breath, easing up in those places, bringing awareness to the jaw and letting that soften as we breathe into it. Now moving awareness down the body, let's allow the arms to be heavy, breathing in, breathing out, letting the out breath soften the arms. Large muscles relaxing, hands and fingers resting gently on the legs. And attention now moving into the core of the body, breathing in. And with the exhale, feeling the breath move down through the chest and into the belly, softening as it goes. And again, breathing, sending softness down the back of the body. Maybe there's a lot of tension there. Letting go wherever you find tightness and the ability to soften. Let's sense into the weight of the body, settling into the floor. Getting a sense of being grounded in this place, supported by the floor, which really stands in for the earth. And now the legs as we breathe, noticing what's present in the legs, letting go of tightness as we find it. And feeling those places where the whole bottom of the body the legs, the feet, the buttocks sink into the floor. Now, it might not seem like a stretching exercise, but breathing stretches the whole abdomen. So let's give that a try. You might want to rest your hand on your belly and breathing in, allow the belly to swell out. Changing the shape of the lungs. Now for the exhale, pressing in with the abdominal muscles, emptying, changing the shape of the lungs again. Breathing in and out now, just like that, at your own pace. Belly and rib cage stretching out. Pressing in with the abdominal muscles. You might feel the spine lengthen a little as you press in with the muscles of the belly. And as you breathe in, you might practice filling from the shoulders down toward the hips, making a gradual expansion. So let's try that. Breathing in, filling from the shoulders first down toward the belly, and then just the opposite as we breathe out, pressing in down low, very low in the abdomen, rolling that contraction up past the navel and toward the diaphragm so that we're emptying from the hips toward the shoulders. So try that directional breathing just a couple of times. Feel the abdomen expand and contract. Definitely stretching and changing its shape. And maybe as we continue to breathe, slowing the breath down a little bit to calm the nervous system. And let's come back to the natural breath. We'll bring the arms down by the sides and begin to lengthen and stretch with yoga asanas, the poses and postures. So breathing in, let's sweep the arms up, coming to stick pose. The arms are straight up. We're reaching out through the fingertips and stretching down through the tailbone so that the torso is as long as it can be. Let's relax with the out breath. Breathing in again, coming to the stick pose. And relaxing the arms down to the sides. Breathing in, let's sweep one arm up and over the head. Getting a nice stretch on your exhale. We'll move from side to side. Breathing in as we lift and out as we stretch. And bringing that back to the center. Let's get comfortable and stretch the legs out in front of the body. Circling the ankles and pointing and flexing the feet. Now let's take one leg into the center and then the other, and we'll press the soles of the feet together in a long, elongated butterfly pose. You'll probably feel a bit of stretching in the groin area. straightening the posture. And let's stretch the body forward and backward. So breathing in. With the exhale, let's curl the spine. Not something we ordinarily do in yoga. Let's stay here for 3 or 4 breaths, feeling the stretch up the back of the body. Hopefully, we're opening up some of the energetic channels in the body, allowing chi or prana energy to flow more freely. Now, slowly coming back up, let's keep our legs in the same position, and we'll take the hands around to the back with the fingers pointed forward. And let's attempt a slight back bend, opening up the chest and shoulders, arching the spine slightly forward, breathing, feeling the expansion of the chest. Now, slowly controlling the weight of the head, let's break the head up, and we'll come back to where we started. And let's take one leg out to the side and tuck the other one in with the sole of the foot up against the thigh. And you can pick how far out your legs are spread or how tightly your foot is tucked in. Just do what's easily available to you. Now, in our past few weeks, we've been working on gradually stretching the hamstrings and stretching the spine as we take a breath in and then slowly walk our hands forward, letting the spine gradually come down over the leg. I'm not a big fan of just plopping yourself into a big stretch when the muscles are tight. I think it's helpful to work your way into it. And when you do feel that you're starting to loosen, maybe you can hold your toe and lay the spine out over the thigh. This is the Great Seal. Let's spend a few breaths here, breathing, and with each exhale, letting go of resistance in the body. Sometimes the muscles tighten up as a sort of defense mechanism, and it takes a few breaths for them to get the idea that they can let go. And after a few breaths, you may find that the muscles lengthen and relax, and you can come down a little closer to your leg. Or maybe it's not time for that yet, so just see what's present for you. Now walking the hands back up. Let's take the elbow on the same side, plant it in front of the knee, rest the head on your fingertips, reaching up with your opposite hand, half dragonfly. Big stretch up the side of the body. And if you would like to stretch across the chest a little bit, you can tuck your hand in the small of your back. Breathing, letting the body sink into the pose and relax. And we'll bring the hand back to center. Slowly allow the body to come back up. Take a moment just to feel all the residual of that. Then we'll take the other leg out and tuck this one in. It's always more challenging on one side than the other, I think. Now breathing in, and same process with the exhale. Let's start to walk the hands forward, gradually letting the body come down over the leg. If you're crooked like me, it's going to be very different on the second side. And then at some point, maybe you'll feel like it's time to hold on to your toe. Staying in place for a few breaths. Letting go of tension in the low back, the thighs and hamstrings, maybe even the arms. Now we'll walk the hands back up. And on this side of the body, plant that elbow in front of the knee, resting your ear right on top of the fingertips and reaching up. Seeing how it feels on this side. If there's room for more, tucking the hand behind the back. Breathing, letting go. Now let's release arms, bringing the body back up to center, and we'll take the feet out in front in the staff pose. Now from here, if you can remember what leg you did first, we'll do half Lord of the Fishes to begin to stretch the hips, which do get very tight. So bringing one leg in, let's bend the other knee up, and then transfer your foot across to the other side of your leg. This is as close to pretzel yoga as we get. Now you have a choice of ways that you can do this. You can wrap your elbow around, feeling a big stretch out here in the outer aspect of the hip. And another option is to place your elbow in front of your knee and give a little pressure there. It feels a little bit more like a twist. I'm in the mood to wrap tonight. Breathing. Tightness in the hips takes a little while to loosen. It generally takes several breaths. Now, let's release the arms. Bring our leg back to the beginning. Stretch it out long. And then we'll take the other one out beside it. Now, half Lord of the Fishes, Matsyendrasana on this side. Bringing the other foot in, bending up the knee, and transferring that leg over to the other side of your knee. Then you can pick how you'd like to proceed with the pose. If you're in the mood to wrap, wrapping your elbow around the knee, seeing if you can preserve the straightness of your spine, and maybe tuck an arm behind the back. Breathing in and out. It's a little hard to get a deep breath when you're all wrapped in tightly like this. Maybe you can feel the breath in the back of the body. Let's release the arm and then the knee. And let's come back to the deer pose, which is like a pinwheel. The legs are splayed out. One is extended a little bit behind. The other one has the foot tucked up against the top of the knee. We'll drop our hands down on the side of the bent knee, and let's begin to move and stretch the whole upper body. Breathing in, a big stretch, reaching out through the fingertips, gazing out over one shoulder. With the exhale, turning the body until you're doing a twist, gazing toward the opposite shoulder. And at your own pace, moving, stretching first one way and then the other. Next time we have the arms fully extended, let's turn the head, just the head, the opposite way. Get a big stretch down the side of the neck. Now returning. And from here, a couple of more lateral bends. Reaching. And if you're feeling like it's available to you, maybe you can come up off the mat, stretch the whole side of the body, all the way down to the knee. And back. All right, now let's bring the legs up and take them around to the deer pose on the other side. Pinwheel would really be, I've never seen a deer sit like this. I think pinwheel is a better name for this pose. All right, hands down on the bent side of the knee. And once again, let's begin to open, breathing in, and with the exhale, wrapping around, enjoying your twist and getting a good stretch from the neck all the way down to the tailbone. Maybe one side will feel tighter or looser than the other. Arms opening. Let's move just the head. And back. And then from here, lateral bend. And if you want to come up off the mat, and coming back to rest. Now let's tuck the feet under us a little bit. And we'll do a little bit of foot stretches and arm stretches. So if you can see, I'll sort of orient myself sideways. You might be ready to come back and sit on your feet. If that's available in your body, feel a big stretch of the whole top of the foot. Now, while we're here, let's bring the right arm in and press on the elbow, stretching the shoulder. We'll stretch wrists and forearms. A little bit of a pull on the hand. And let's take that arm up overhead and drop the hand down behind your head to the center of the back. And we'll push that arm back a little bit to stretch the triceps muscle in the back of the upper arm. Releasing Let's allow that arm to come back up. Now let's change the orientation of the feet. We'll tuck the toes and sit on the toes. You might not be able to do this the whole time if your feet are very tight on the bottom. But while we're here, for as long as we can, let's bring the left arm in, pressing on the elbow. Wrists and forearms. Meanwhile, the plantar fascia are getting a good stretch. Now let's take that arm up, drop the hand behind the head, and we'll push back on the elbow to stretch the triceps. Releasing. Let's get off our toes, if you're not already off your toes, and come to the table pose. Now let's take a moment to get into proper table alignment. Leveling the spine, the arms and legs perpendicular to the floor, and breathing, of course. Beginning cow and cat, stretching and flexing the spine. As we breathe in, lifting the chin and dropping the belly. As we breathe out, rolling the spine upward. We're really getting a good stretch in lots of different places, all up the spinal column, all around the shoulder blades, even maybe the back of the neck as you arch upward and drop your head. Now coming back to center, let's take the spine from side to side, moving the tailbone from one side to the other. Get a little movement going in the low back. And let's bring that to stillness, and we'll put the toes together, a little bit of space between the knees. Let's come back and sit on the heels, or pretty close to the heels, stretching the arms out overhead, resting your head down for a little bit of time in child's pose. This is a resting pose. Lots of people just stay here for a long time in repose, but you're probably also feeling what a great stretch of the back body this is, as the tailbone sinks toward the heels, surrendering the weight of the head, and maybe actively lengthening the arms, reaching out through the fingertips, so that there's really quite an active stretch going on all over the back body. Now rising up. Let's come back to the table, and we'll do something new tonight. We're going to thread the needle. So starting in table pose, let's begin with the right arm extended out to the side and breathing in. And with the exhale, threading the right arm under the left armpit. You can come down to rest on the side of the head. This may be as far as you want to go, depending on the strength of your neck. If your neck is strong, you can take your spare arm up, tuck it behind your back, and you'll feel a few things being stretched. Almost too many to mention. This is a demanding pose, and you have to be patient with it because it does put a lot of weight on the neck. So if you find that it's too much for you, you can back off. Now let's release the arm. Push the body back up as we draw that right arm back to table pose. And then let's do it the other side. Finding your table, extending the left arm out, breathing in, and with the exhale, threading the needle. You might come down to rest on the side of the top of your head. And then if you have the strength, tuck the arm behind the back. There's a little bit of twisting going on here. One more breath, if you like. And then we'll release the arms. Coming back up, drawing the legs in. And turning over to our backs. Take a minute just to feel all the stuff that we've moved and stretched. Then we'll come down to the back of the body and let the back adjust to the floor. Resting your head, maybe drawing the knees into the chest and doing a little bit of rocking. I've always found it difficult to just drop down. I always felt like my back needed to settle in to the floor. Then we'll settle on our back with the hands on the knees. Let's do a little knee to chest pose, Apanasana. Breathing in, knees stretching away from the body. You're going to feel the lengthening of the arms and a bit of stretch in the shoulders. Then with the out breath, we'll flatten the belly, draw the legs in. You're pressing the low back into the floor. Now breathe in and out of that several times. This is a really therapeutic movement. It encourages digestion. It increases circulation in the whole belly as we squeeze the blood out and then invite it back in. And it's a very rhythmic way to move and breathe. And all of that is very soothing. All right, now knees up, but the feet going down to the floor. Let's put them a little wider than hip distance apart. Take the arms out into a T position, and we'll do some windshield wipers, allowing the knees to fall from side to side. You can inhale them up, exhale them down. Very loose, sort of abandoned motion. And back to center. Now a few pelvic tilts, a little bit more work on stretching the low back. Breathing in, arch the belly up just an inch or so. And with the exhale, tilt the pelvis, pressing the low back into the floor. You're maybe lifting the tailbone a little bit. Now rocking your hip bones, breathing in, breathing out. Rocking the spine gently up and down. It feels very good on the low back. And turning over onto our sides. Let's get comfortable on the side body. going to be here for a little while. So let's stretch out long. Draw the knees up as though you were sitting in a chair with the arms out in front of you and the hands stacked on top of each other. We'll do a snow angel twist. So as we breathe in, this upper arm is going to make a big circle over the top of the head, turning and turning until we're facing toward our shoulder. This is a very active twist in the upper back. I find it to be a good stretch of the pectoral muscles and the front of the shoulder as well. So let's stay here and breathe. Just a few breaths. One more good breath, and then let's start to trace a big circle as we bring the body back to where we started, rolling back over with the hands stacked in front. You can rest your head for a minute. Now from here, let's take the legs out long and reach down and find your toe. Stretch that leg up. Allowing it to come back down. Let's take, kicked over my microphone. Let's take that leg out in front of the body and we'll reach around behind, cat pulling its tail. Grab your foot. And let's rest in cat pulling its tail for a couple of minutes. This is probably you're able to tell that this is a big stretch of the quadriceps muscle. Settle into it. Such a large muscle, and it's so very tight, and it's not stretched very frequently. So it takes several breaths for it to release. We're holding most of our poses for 4, maybe 6 breaths, something like that. Maybe later on, when we're all feeling a lot more flexible, we might go as many as 10 or 12 breaths. And people who practice yin yoga are sometimes doing 20 or 30 breaths, holding things for up to 5 minutes. So really, it's all a work in progress, inviting a lot of patience. Right, releasing that leg. Let's come around to the other side of the body. And get back into our lying down chair position. With the hands stacked out in front. Breathing in, tracing a big circle up over the top of the head, turning the upper body to face the other shoulder. And let's stay here and breathe. I highly recommend some audible sighs. Very relaxing. And if you're ready, beginning to trace the return of your arm back over the top of the head, coming in for a landing with your Hands stacked on top of each other. Then let's reach down, grab the toe, and if it's available, stretch that leg upward. Just noticing where you feel stretched. Letting go. Let's take that top leg out to the front of the body and reach around to find the foot, cat pulling its tail on this side. You can rest your head in your hand, or if you want to just lay down, you can extend your arm and let your head lay down on the floor. Spending a little time here, feeling the stretch in the quad, but it's also possible that you're feeling a big stretch down the iliotibial band that goes from your hip down to the outside of your knee. That's connective tissue, and it gets really tight. Few breaths here. And let's release the foot. Come on over to your back. And we'll lay back down, arms out in a T. Let's take a little rest now. We'll place the soles of the feet together and let the knees drop out to the side in the reclining cobbler pose. This really is a lovely resting pose that opens up the whole front of the body. And it gives you something of a stretch across the pelvis and the interior hamstrings. Breathing and abandoning the weight of the body into the floor. Let's really let go of tightness before we move into the next thing. Slowly lifting the knees back up, very, very slowly to activate the small supportive muscles of the legs. And when you come back up to the center, let's gather one leg in, stretch the other one out long. Now, trading legs, let's take one out long and gather the other one in. Perhaps you can feel a stretch in the hip flexors here in the front of the body, front of the hips. And then the soles of the feet on the floor. Let's take the legs a little wider apart than we had them before, and we'll let the knees go from side to side. Now you might notice that when your knees are further apart, or rather when your feet are further apart, you get more of a stretch in the quadriceps muscle and all of the attachments around the knee. Just playing with that, gentle moving stretches. Now the legs coming back up to center. Let's roll the back into the floor and lift the legs with your hands around the arches of your feet, coming into the saddle pose, an extremely dignified pose, but I'm sure you can feel how it opens up the whole pelvis. And when you're ready, releasing that. All right, take a moment to sense into your body and to reach around and find something that you can use as a strap. It could be It could be a tie or a scarf, or tonight I actually have a real yoga strap. But that where the light seems to be the best. Let's do some leg extensions using the strap. So coming down on your back, let's begin with the right leg. We'll place the strap around the arch of the foot, stretch the other leg out long, and lift that leg up, exerting a little bit of tension on the strap, drawing the foot gently in the direction of the top of the head. Now, if your hamstrings are tight, you're definitely going to feel this. You'll feel it in the calves as well, the whole back of the leg. Breathing. Maybe 4 breaths like this. Maybe with each out breath, you'll notice that you can stretch the leg just a little bit more toward the forehead. Now, letting go of the tension on the straps, let's pass both straps into the left hand and invite that leg across the body. This is really going to stretch the iliotibial band. You can have your spare arm out in a T and gaze at the fingertips of your spare arm. The back of the body is really almost in full contact with the floor, and the brunt of the stretch is born right here. The weight of the leg is held by the strap. Let's come out of this carefully so that we don't pull anything. Bend the knee and draw the leg gently back up, passing the strap now over into the right hand, and we'll let that leg drop out to the outside. I don't have to tell you where you're going to feel this. I know you'll be able to tell. The weight of the leg is held by the strap. See if you can let go of muscular tension in the leg. Just let the weight of the leg passively stretch the muscles of the groin, the whole interior thigh. Now, slowly, let's bend the knee, taking the tension out of it. We'll bring that leg back up and release the strap. Let's take a moment now, stretch that leg out long, and notice if you have that sense that one leg is just a little bit longer than the other. Let's see if we can't address that now. Bringing the other leg up, and we'll place the strap around the arch. Again, now the strap is held in both hands, and we're gently drawing the toes in the direction of the forehead. Not so much down as forward toward the head. Breathing, and with each out breath, relaxing the leg. It's fully extended, and it's pretty straight, but relaxing whatever we can, letting the muscle lengthen. We're all very tight in the hamstrings. Now let's release the tension, take the straps into the right hand, let the left arm go out long, and we'll invite that leg across the body, stretching the iliotibial band on that side. You might want to look toward your opposite shoulder, giving it a little bit of a twist effect. breathing, letting the weight of the body sink into the floor. Now let's put a bend in that knee, releasing the tension, and we'll draw it back up to center. Pass the straps over to the opposite hand and let that leg swing out to the outside. Gosh, that's a big stretch. Softening the leg and abandoning the weight. And when you're ready, let's bend the knee, draw the leg back up to center, and we'll slide the strap off, taking that leg out long. And let's see if we have a matched set now. Now both of our legs are equally long. Maybe we're 1/8 of an inch taller. That would be nice. All right, let's bend the knees, bringing the heels up toward the buttocks. There's maybe 6 or 8 inches of the heels from the buttocks. The arms are down by the sides, the palms facing the floor. Let's do the bridge pose for a little bit more spinal flexibility. As we breathe in, lifting the body up, you're going to feel a stretch in the legs, flexibility of the spine. Breathing in, and then with the exhale, laying the spine slowly back down on the floor, one vertebra at a time. Now, a few times, let's breathe in and out of that. Breathing into bridge, slowly laying the vertebrae down with our exhale. And back to the center. Now, if there's any particular movement that you feel like your body needs, you can pay attention to that. And then we'll do our Shavasana. I invite you to lay on your back. I'll hold the space for you as you relax body and mind. So spreading out on your back with your legs very relaxed, feet falling out to the side, the arms a few inches away from the sides of the body, palms up, allowing your eyes to float closed. And let's take a gentle inventory, letting go of tension, just as we did at the beginning of the practice. Breathing in, and with the exhale, a general sense of letting go, relaxing. And as the body allows its weight to sink into the floor, checking in at those places where we typically hold tension, relaxing the face, letting go of tension around the eyes, breathing and allowing the tongue to rest inside the mouth. The lips might be closed, but the teeth are not clenched. Little space between the teeth. Softening the jaw. Breathing in and breathing out. The weight of the arms sinking into the floor. Sending softness down into the belly. Relaxing inside and outside, all through the abdomen. The legs heavy and limp. No tension in the feet. Relaxed and the muscles soft. Simply resting, allowing the body to learn the lessons of this practice, and allowing the mind to be at rest. Beginning to return now, bringing a little bit more activity back into the body. If you feel ready, letting your eyes float open, deepening the breath. Beginning to move in small ways, fingers and toes. Maybe rolling a little from side to side again as you wake the body up. And when you're ready, if you're ready, coming back up to a seated posture.